Hello. So I'm looking around at the world and there's a lot of big changes going on. They're happening really, really fast. And I'm looking at people I know, people who are in my realm of influence, and some of them are holding on to their focus. They're staying true to themselves and they're going with it and it's being great. But a lot more people are floundering. They're spinning out, or they're feeling totally depleted, or they're losing their focus and they're going over here and then they're going over here and they're going over there. So I asked the question this week, how do we hold fast to our focus and still allow for magic to happen? I am Theresa Woodsong, soul coach and channel. And this is a really important question because if you think of focus in terms of I'm going to make this happen, then that's really constricting and very limiting, and it shuts you off to receiving the support and the messages that may come from your higher self, that may come from the universe, your guides, teachers, angels. And what we want to do is find that balance between holding tight to the focus and going with the flow. And when I first asked the question doing the reading, it was very, very fiery, very fiery. It was like, okay, this question pertains to the mastery of will. And the key word that came up on mastering your will was certainty. Now, what do I mean by certainty? There's a book that was published 1910 by a guy named Wallace Wattles, and the book is The Science of Getting Rich. And when I first discovered this book, a friend gave it to me, and she said, Theresa, I want you to read this because he keeps talking about doing things a certain way, but he never says what the certain way is. And it's not that there's a certain way, like you plant your seeds with the third stomach of the brindle calf on the first Sunday after the first full moon after the vernal equinox. No, that's not that type of certain way. The certain way he's referring to is being certain that when you plant the seed, you are ensuring that you will have food this year. It may not be from the seed you're planting. It may come from somewhere else, but you are being certain that you will be fed. Does that make sense? Now, there are a couple things you can be certain of. One is that you are the supreme authority on you. There's nobody else who, like, I can do a reading for you and I can get you a lot of really good information, but that is still not going to be as good as the information that you ultimately allow yourself to receive from your higher self, from your deepest self, from your truest self, because everybody else, I can see what I see about you, but there's going to be the filter of my unique perception. And you and your world and your reality can only be viewed through the perception that is unique to you. Another thing, so that means, yes, can be certain you are the highest authority. Another thing you can be absolutely certain of is that the universe will support you at whatever level of expressing your truest essence that you choose to express. So a lot of people miss the boat because they say, oh, I'm waiting for a sign from the universe. I'm waiting for God to show me what I should be doing with my life, or what I should create, or what I should do about this relationship, or what blah, 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 blah. I'm waiting for a sign. Waiting for a sign from God, waiting for a sign from the universe, waiting for a sign from thinking substance is great when you're talking about the how, but not when you're talking about the what. Because when you proclaim to the universe what you want, the universe will support you with opportunities, with hints and nudges, with, oh, go over here and do that. This will make that happen. Go plant the tree over there. That'll make it happen. So it's not, you choose what you want, and the universe supports you in that. So if you're waiting for a sign on what you want to be, you're probably going to get a lot of weird, convoluted, nebulous responses on that. So and you need to be really, really clear when you're saying what you want. And referring back to our good friend Wallace, he says, okay, you need to be really, really specific about what you want. You must have it before you can give it. And many people fail to impress thinking substance because they themselves only have a vague and misty concept of the things they want to do or have or become. It is not enough that you should have a general desire for wealth to do good. For wealth to do good with. Everybody has that desire. It is not enough that you should have a wish to travel and see things, live more, etc. Everybody has those desires also. If you were going to send, this dates it here, if you were going to send a wireless message to a friend, you would not send the letters of the alphabet in their order and let him construct the message for himself. Nor would you take words at random from the dictionary. You would send a coherent sentence, one which meant something. When you try to impress your wants upon substance, which is a term he uses for God or the universe or source, remember that it must be done by a coherent statement. You must know what you want and be definite. You can never get rich or start the creative power into action by sending out unformed longings and vague desires. So the solution to this is to write a proclamation or a manifesto, if you will, and say specifically what you want. And I like to dig deep and say, I want this so that that. So you wouldn't say necessarily, I want a 3,500 square foot house with a huge great room, garden baths, and a gourmet kitchen sitting on over an acre of land. It would be much better to say, I want a place to live that supports my longing for huge festive parties and small intimate gatherings and rituals that we can do out in nature without being disturbed or without worrying about someone being offended. So then take that deeper. I want to be able to do rituals in nature so that I can tap into my roots of being an earth mama, so that I can model for other people what it's like to be true for yourself. You see, you go deeper and deeper and deeper. And this can be, quite a lengthy little document. Even if you're just starting with one thing that you want, you can go pretty deep. And then once you have the document, refer to it regularly. Read it out loud. Make it a proclamation. Make it a demand of the universe. And anytime you feel like you're lost or you're losing your way or you're feeling stifled or limited or getting vague again, reproclaim it. Reread it. Read it back to yourself. And this has two purposes, two benefits. One is you are saying, hello, universe, just to remind you, this is what we're working on, right? And reaffirm that. And you also reaffirm it to yourself and stoke the fires of your own certainty so that you can, hi, Jodelle. I hope I pronounced your name right. Good to see you. And I love reading. I'm not sure what you mean by that. Give me more information and I'll tell you. So anyway, when you read the manifest with heart and with feeling and with certainty, this is what I'm going for, then it fires up your certainty. And there's an added benefit to all of this, and that the more certain you are, the more you can relax. Because if you're certain, hey, it's going to happen. I'm certain it's going to happen. So I can relax because there's nothing to stress about because I'm certain it's going to happen. You see how that works? And then when you're relaxed, you're much more receptive to letting the magic happen. You're receptive to getting the messages. You're receptive to perceiving the support. You're perceptive to the opportunities that come your way. So then you're more receptive, you get more evidence that you can be certain. So it's a delicious circle that you create with your certainty. So, Jodelle, yes, I did. Okay, I'm sorry, I still don't know what that means. However, if you be more specific, I'd be glad to follow up. It's time to wrap this reading up. Oh, hun, I don't do that kind of reading. I do readings that give you pertinent, actionable information that empowers you to be certain, to make take the best actions you can to have a positive outcome to the situation that we're doing the reading on. So I'm sorry I can't help you out with that. Anyway, that was the reading for the day for this week. And if you have any questions or comments, please post them. And if you'd like to make sure you get future readings, then please like my page. And until next week, I am sending you huge, 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 huge warm wishes and brightest blessings. And hello, Melissa. And Jodelle, I will direct message you some information on doing a reading. Okay, hun? And sorry you are just catching the end, Melissa. Like my page, and you can catch the one next week. Bye, everybody. Mwah.